Let me tell you something. Money doesn't make you rich, and lack of it doesn't make you poor. It's how you think, how you act, and what you do daily that determines whether you stay stuck or rise above. My mentor, Mr. Schoaf, once told me something that changed my life. Your bank account is a reflection of your philosophy, not your paycheck. See, poor people don't stay poor because they lack opportunity. They stay poor because they repeat habits that keep them there. Millionaires don't multiply their fortune because they got lucky. They do it because they think differently, act differently, and make decisions based on growth, not survival. Today, we're going to talk about why the poor stay stuck and millionaires rise to multiply their fortune. So the big question is, are you stuck in survival mode, or are you ready to break free and build real wealth? Let's find out. Did you know that hundreds of successful people have shared their stories in books explaining exactly how they achieved success? Yet so many people don't read them? How do you explain that? One book could save you 5 years of trial and error. Every successful person I know from all over the world is a good reader. Their curiosity pushes them to keep reading. They just read, and read some more. I once heard someone say, if you want to hide wealth from the average person, put it in a book. That hit me hard. Not because it was an insult, but because it was the truth. Most people will complain about their situation, but they won't spend an hour reading a book that could change their life. Most people are trapped in a cycle of earning just enough to cover their expenses, hoping that next month will somehow be different. But nothing changes because they rely on only one source of income. The problem isn't just the paycheck, it's the mentality that says, this is all I have, so I have to make it work. But let me ask you, what happens when that one paycheck disappears? A job loss, an economic downturn, an emergency? Suddenly, survival becomes a struggle. Wealthy people think differently. They don't rely on just one stream of income. They build multiple. They understand that money should work for them, not the other way around. While the average person is waiting for their next paycheck, the wealthy are investing in businesses, real estate, stocks, or side ventures that generate cash flow. I remember when I first learned this lesson, a mentor told me, never depend on a single source of income. You must have a backup and then a backup for the backup. At the time, I was working hard, but all my effort went into one paycheck. The moment I shifted my mindset and started creating additional income streams, everything changed. If you want real financial security, you must break free from the idea that a paycheck is enough. The rich don't just work for money. They make money work for them. The choice is yours. Stay stuck in survival mode or start building your financial freedom today. Money is a tool, but the difference between those who stay poor and those who build wealth is how they use it. The poor get a paycheck and the first thing they do is spend. New gadgets, fancy clothes, the latest entertainment. It feels good in the moment, but when the month ends, they're right back where they started, broke, waiting for the next paycheck. The rich, on the other hand, don't see money as something to spend. They see it as something to grow. When they earn, they ask, how can I make this money work for me? Instead of buying liabilities that drain their income, they invest in assets that multiply it. They put their money into businesses, stocks, real estate, things that generate wealth over time. I remember a time when I got a small bonus at work. My first instinct was to buy something nice for myself. But then I stopped and thought, what if I use this money to make more money? So I invested it in learning a new skill, one that later doubled my income. That one decision changed everything. Every dollar you touch has a choice attached to it. Will you spend it on temporary pleasure, or will you invest it in your future? The poor stay poor because they chase comfort today. The rich build wealth because they sacrifice now for a better tomorrow. The choice is in your hands. Change is inevitable. The world moves fast. Technology evolves. Industries shift. Economies rise and fall. But here's the difference. The poor fear change, while the rich embrace it. I've seen people cling to what's familiar, even when it no longer serves them. They say, this is the way we've always done it. They resist new opportunities because they're afraid to step into the unknown. Fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of risk. It keeps them stuck in the same place, year after year. But the rich, they see change as a door to new possibilities. When the economy shifts, they don't panic, they adapt. When new technology emerges, they don't complain, they learn how to use it to their advantage. When obstacles appear, they don't freeze, they innovate. Think about how businesses evolve during tough times. Some people lost everything because they refused to change, while others built empires by adjusting their strategies. A bookstore owner who ignored the internet was left behind, but the one who embraced e-commerce built a $1 million online business. The lesson? Those who refuse to change get left behind. Those who adapt thrive. I once had a mentor who told me, if you don't change, life will force you to. And he was right. If you fear change, you'll always struggle to keep up. But if you develop the courage to embrace it, you'll never be left behind. The future belongs to those who are willing to grow. Your environment shapes your future. The people you surround yourself with determine your mindset, your habits, and ultimately, your success. The poor often surround themselves with complainers, skeptics, and those who have no ambition. They spend their time with people who reinforce mediocrity, who make excuses, and who believe that success is reserved for the lucky few. But the rich? They deliberately build relationships with winners. They seek out mentors, successful entrepreneurs, and forward-thinking individuals who challenge them to grow. They understand that if you want to elevate your life, you must elevate your circle. I once heard a story of a young man who worked an average job but started spending time with successful business owners. He listened to their conversations, learned their habits, and absorbed their mindset. Over time, he shifted his thinking, took risks, and eventually built his own company. His transformation wasn't luck. It was the power of proximity. If you spend time with 5 broke people, you'll become the 6th. But if you surround yourself with 5 wealthy, driven individuals, success will begin to rub off on you. Choose your circle wisely. It will determine where you end up. Some people see a problem and immediately start complaining. They say, why does this always happen to me? Or life is unfair. They waste time blaming the government, the economy, or their boss. But here's the truth. Complaining changes nothing. It only keeps you stuck. The wealthy, on the other hand, approach problems differently. Instead of complaining, they ask, how can I fix this? What can I learn from this? How can I turn this obstacle into an opportunity? They know that every problem carries the seed of a solution, and often that solution leads to financial success. Think about some of the biggest businesses in the world. They exist because someone solved a problem. Uber was created because people wanted an easier way to get a ride. Airbnb was born because travelers needed affordable places to stay. Problems are not barriers. They are invitations to think bigger. I once met a man who lost his job, and instead of complaining, he started a small side hustle. Over time, that hustle became a full-time business. What changed? His mindset. If you train yourself to see solutions instead of obstacles, wealth will follow. The question is, are you solving or just complaining? The difference between the rich and the poor isn't just money, it's vision. The poor think small. They focus on just getting by, on surviving the next week, the next paycheck. They say, I just need enough to pay my bills. But the rich think bigger. They ask, how can I build something that lasts? How can I create wealth that outlives me? Imagine 2 people starting a business. One aims to make just enough to cover rent. The other aims to dominate the market, expand, and serve thousands. Who do you think will succeed? It's not about luck. It's about thinking beyond the immediate. Years ago, I met a man who refused to think small. Instead of opening one store, he envisioned a franchise. Today, he owns dozens. The size of your dreams determines the size of your success. So, are you thinking small or are you thinking big? Fear is the great divider between those who stay stuck and those who rise. The poor let fear control them. They fear failure, rejection, and uncertainty. They say, what if I lose money? What if it doesn't work? And so they do nothing. But the rich, they take bold risks. They understand that fear is natural, but action is what separates winners from losers. I remember a young man who told me he wanted to start a business but was afraid to leave his job. What if I fail? He asked. I told him, what if you succeed? See, the rich don't let fear dictate their choices. They weigh risks carefully, but they take them. They know that no great fortune was ever built without stepping into the unknown. Fear will always be there, but the question is, will you let it stop you, or will you push past it and claim your success? The poor wake up every day thinking about how to get through the month, how to pay the next bill, how to survive. Their mindset is stuck in survival mode, always reacting to problems instead of creating solutions. But the rich, they focus on growth. They ask, how can I increase my income? How can I multiply my wealth? How can I improve myself? I knew a man who worked tirelessly at his job, just making ends meet. One day I asked him, what's your plan to get ahead? He said, I just need to make it through the year. That's survival thinking. Compare that to another man who used his evenings to learn a new skill, started a side business, and within a few years had more income streams than he ever imagined. The difference is simple: survive or thrive. Which one will you choose? The poor spend their money on things that lose value the moment they buy them. Fancy cars they can't afford, the latest gadgets, expensive clothes to impress others. The rich, on the other hand, put their money into assets that grow in value over time. Real estate, businesses, stocks, and knowledge. This is one of the biggest financial lessons you must learn. Don't just spend, invest. I knew a young man who got his first big paycheck and immediately went out to buy a brand new luxury car. He wanted to show people he had made it. But within months, that car had lost value and he was struggling to make the payments. Contrast that with another man I met. He took that same amount of money and put it into rental property. A few years later, that property was not only worth more, but it was also paying him every month. The key difference is understanding the power of appreciating assets. The poor chase short-term pleasure, while the rich think long-term wealth. If you want financial freedom, stop spending money on things that fade and start investing in things that grow. The poor see competition as a threat. They believe that if someone else wins, they must lose. But the rich see competition as an opportunity. It pushes them to grow, to innovate, to become better. The difference is in how they view the game of success. The poor play defense, hoping to protect what little they have, while the rich play offense, always looking for new ways to win. I remember a young man who wanted to start a business but hesitated. There are already so many people doing this, he said. The market is too crowded. That's the mindset that keeps people stuck, believing that because others are succeeding, there's no room left for them. But the truth is, competition isn't the enemy, stagnation is. The wealthy understand that competition creates demand for excellence. When Steve Jobs saw other companies making computers, he didn't back down. He innovated, he improved, and he created something better. When athletes train for the Olympics, they don't fear the other runners. They use them as motivation to push their limits. The poor get intimidated by those who are already winning, while the rich study them, learn from them, and find ways to improve. Instead of seeing competition as a roadblock, the rich see it as a challenge, an invitation to rise above the average and build something even greater. The question isn't, is there competition? The question is, how can I compete and win? The poor chase quick money, always looking for the next shortcut, the next lottery ticket, the next get-rich-quick scheme. They want the reward without the effort, the harvest without planting the seeds. The rich, on the other hand, think long-term. They understand that wealth isn't built overnight, it's built over time, through discipline, patience, and wise decisions. I once met a man who told me, "I just need to make a quick $10,000. I asked him, "Then what?" He didn't have an answer. His focus was on a one-time windfall, not a strategy for building lasting wealth. That's the difference. While the poor focus on quick wins, the rich focus on building systems that generate wealth consistently. Look at any self-made millionaire, and you'll see the same story. They didn't gamble their way to success. They didn't rely on luck. They invested in themselves and their skills and their businesses, in assets that would grow over time. Warren Buffett bought his first stock at age 11. He wasn't looking to double his money in a week. He was thinking 50 years ahead. The poor want fast results and get frustrated when success doesn't come instantly. They jump from one thing to the next, never giving anything time to grow. The rich plant their seeds, water them, nurture them, and watch them grow into something incredible. Wealth is built with consistency. Small, smart choices repeated over time. If you want to change your financial future, stop looking for quick fixes. Start thinking in years, not days. Build something that will pay you for a lifetime. The difference between struggling and succeeding isn't luck. It's patience, discipline, and the willingness to think beyond today. Most people wake up every morning, go through the motions, and wonder why nothing ever changes. They let life happen to them, reacting to circumstances instead of shaping them. They blame the economy, their upbringing, their boss, or even bad luck. But here's the truth. Your life is not something that just happens. It's something you create. The rich know this. They take charge of their destiny. I remember meeting a man who told me, "I just can't seem to get ahead. Every time I try, something gets in the way." So I asked him, "What's your plan?" He shrugged. He had none. He was drifting, hoping that one day things would magically change. But success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who act. The rich don't wait for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, or the perfect opportunity. They create opportunities. They set goals, make plans, and take action. When they hit obstacles, they adjust, but they never stop moving forward. Think about an airplane on autopilot. If the wind blows it off course, the system makes small corrections to get back on track. The poor never correct their course. They keep flying in the wrong direction, hoping the wind will eventually push them where they want to go. The rich, they take control of the cockpit. They don't hope for a better future, they build it. No one is going to hand you success. No one is going to magically open doors for you. If you don't take control of your life, someone else will. And if you let others decide your future, don't be surprised when it doesn't turn out the way you want it. You are in charge, no one else. The moment you accept that, everything changes. Here's something to think about. Every day, you're either building your future or letting it slip away. Every decision you make, every habit you reinforce, every dollar you spend or invest is either moving you toward wealth and success or keeping you stuck in the same cycle. The difference between the poor who stay stuck and the rich who multiply their fortune isn't luck, intelligence, or background, it's choice. If you've listened carefully, you've seen the patterns. The poor live paycheck to paycheck. The rich create multiple income streams. The poor spend. The rich invest. The poor fear change. The rich embrace it. The poor surround themselves with losers. The rich network with winners. And on it goes. These are not just random habits. They are the difference between financial struggle and financial freedom. So now the real question is, what are you going to do with this information? Because here's the truth. Most people will listen to this, get inspired for a moment, and then go right back to their old patterns. They'll tell themselves, that was a great speech, but they won't change a thing. And 6 months, a year, 5 years from now, they'll still be in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. But that's not going to be you. You are going to take action. You are going to decide right here, right now, that enough is enough. You're going to stop making excuses. You're going to stop letting fear control you. You're going to stop waiting for life to change and start changing your life. And it starts with small but powerful steps. Start by committing to growth. Read the right books, listen to the right people, surround yourself with winners, take control of your finances, start saving, start investing, start building assets instead of collecting liabilities. Stop thinking in terms of lack and start thinking in terms of abundance. You don't have to become a millionaire overnight. You don't have to have everything figured out, but you do have to start. You have to break free from survival mode and start operating with a mindset of growth and success. Here's my challenge to you. Pick one area of your life where you've been thinking small, living in fear, or making excuses, and change it today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because here's the final truth. No one is coming to save you. There is no secret shortcut. There is no magic formula. Success is built, not given. And those who take control of their destiny, those who choose discipline over laziness, action over excuses, and growth over comfort, those are the ones who win. So ask yourself, are you going to be one of them?